Good morning, Grenada. Our sister Isles of Gary, PT Martinique, the world. Welcome to another edition of Good Morning Grenada. My name, Glenn Tellisford. I'll go with GT. And, of course, I got my bro. A little bit on a different location this morning. Looking good from your direction, bro. Good morning. Let's say good morning to Gary. Gary, good morning. Not grabbing an audio from you as yet. Nah, not sure what's happening there. Hey Gary, how you doing? So me having a little bit of audio issues with Gary. Hope to have that resolved shortly, and then we could probably kick in with him this morning. I'm not sure what's happening on his side of things. And anyway, folks, it's Good Morning Grenada. GT with you, folks, and Gary Amov, Mr. Smooth, of course, in a remote location this morning. And let's see if we can have that rectified. And Gary, you with me? Not seem to be getting an audio feed from Gary for some reason or the other this morning, but not sure what's the problem there. Anyway, folks, let's kick it. Don't forget, it's Good Morning Grenada here on K105 and Hot 98. Well, of course, let's welcome our viewers via GBN TV. Once again, good morning. Those of you locked on via, of course, on viewing us via Facebook and YouTube. Welcome. This is a preview to what's coming up, folks. So don't forget, we also could take a peek at the news that comes around at 6:45 for you. Of course, we're going to let you know more about that. And don't forget, we also have the weather forecast from the mid office. That's at 7 a.m. We'll take a peek into that. Don't forget, the Celebrations Club also comes your way this morning. Those of you celebrating your birthday and anniversary, we're going to shout you out. And if you want, of course, send a greeting in advance, you could send us via WhatsApp. Telephone the number you can send a WhatsApp to 435-2041. That's 435-2041. And which, of course, we'll accept that. And we do that for you just around 7:15 this morning, so look out for that. Yes, so let's get into the word of the day this morning. I'm vying a little bit solo until we have that issue with Gary rectified. Soon as that is rectified, we certainly will take care of that, all right? And the word for today, or the word of the day, is stir crazy. That's the word for today. And let's take a peek in terms of how we could, or the meaning of the word per se. Stir crazy mean distort because of prolonged confinement. Think about that. Distort because of prolonged confinement. Now, here's some examples of using stir crazy. Guests at the ski lodge began going stir crazy after 3 days, or should I say day 3 of being snowed in by the blizzard. I'm going to repeat that for you. Guests at the ski lodge began going stir crazy after day 3 of being snowed in by the blizzard. Now, trying to decide what to do with the stir crazy Vermont kids in winter. Maybe they are home from school on break, or went easy indoor winter fun. Think about that, right? There are a variety of places and attractions that will let your child creativity, imagination, and energy soar away from the confines of their regular space. So that's your word of the day today. And let's get into, of course, the thought of the day. Also, as we move along this morning, it's Good Morning Grenada. Good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Grenada. And let's talk about your thought about the day today. Let's see if you can put some extra energy into this one. And suddenly, maybe it could be that thought that could have you, how can I place it for you? Make your day just a better one. Listen to this. Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. And that thought there by Henry Ford. I'll repeat after that thought for you once again. Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. So when you fail and you thought about it and you start all over again, it could begin, of course, be more intelligent the way you did it before. Let's think about that, all right? So we're moving out. We got 20 minutes moving out before the top of the hour. Is K105, and it's Good Morning Grenada. And we also have for you your health trivia this morning here on K105. And let's take a peek at your health trivia. Usually, Mr. Smooth takes care of the health trivia for you. He being the, I like to refer to him as the health enthusiast more than I but I'll take care of it this morning. Yes, spices for weight loss. You know, you probably, of course, been using spices and you never knew what the real purpose that they could serve in your weight loss. And now cinnamon, it helps to reduce blood sugar and helps carbs process healthier. That's cinnamon. That's one there too. Yes, cayenne pepper. I think I know about this one a little bit. I tried it a couple times, but it never seemed to work for me. Anyway, cayenne pepper contains, is it capishi? I hope I'm getting that word fit in there properly, which helps burns fat. All right. And we have a third one there for you. Mustard seed boosts your metabolism by 20 to 25% for several hours after consumption. Then we have ginger, of course, is another, of course, spice that helps lose weight. Acts, of course, as for a diuretic, improves gastric mobility and hinders the cholesterol absorption. So take a note of that. And the fifth and final spice that helps you in terms of weight loss, black pepper. It boosts your metabolism, your metabolism. I always seem to stumble on that word for some reason or the other, and helps digestion and aid in nutrients absorptions. All right, so that was your of course, your health, of course, trivia there for this morning, and of course, the spices that for weight loss. Now let's of course get into of course a bit of a riddle that you could probably ponder upon for most of the daytime today, and see maybe you could this bit of riddle I'm going to throw out this morning, and see if it for some reason it may you could ponder upon it and hit me your answers via WhatsApp. Riddle me this morning. What word looks the same backwards and upside down? All right. What word looks the same backwards and upside down? That's the, of course, your riddle for this morning. Ponder upon it. Send me your, of course, answers via WhatsApp. You know the numbers you can get in contact, 435-2041. That's 435-2041 or 435-7514. And we could certainly take a look at the answers when we do get around to that segment before we wrap up the show this morning. It's Good Morning Grenada, GT with you this morning. Still haven't made that contact with Gary as yet. I'm not sure what's happening on his neck of the woods. Hey, Gary, could you hear me? Still not getting that audio feed from Gary for some reason or the other. I'm not sure what's happening this morning, but nevertheless, it's all good to know that he's all right in his neck of the woods. Those of you listening via Hot 98, certainly hope that, of course, you stay tuned with us, because, of course, he's on that side also. And trying to get him even Hot 98. I'm not even getting him on that side on Hot 9 this morning. But so, Gary, we're going to have that rectified, hopefully, for another show. Anyway, folks, don't forget, coming up shortly, we have for you the classic AM edition of news, and that comes around for you just about a minute or so from now. And also coming up at the top of the hour, that's at 7 a.m. this morning. Don't forget, we take a peek at the weather forecast from the Points and Easement office. Hey, those of you listening via GBN TV, don't forget we also rebroadcast last evening's of newscast. That will be rebroadcast for you. So stay with us here on K105 and Hot 98 as we get set for the AM edition of news. It's next here on Good Morning Grenada.
And now for the news in detail, we're starting on the political front this evening. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell says the electoral gates can be thrown open at any time, but he does not see a rationale for snap elections. GBN's Gerard Joseph sought out the Prime Minister's thought today.
We are in Grenada. The circumstances of Barbados, we are not aware. My friend and colleagues have not told me why she called the election 18 months ahead of time. And therefore, Grenada will make its own decision in what is considered its best interest.
This was the response of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell when quizzed on the possibilities of a snap election for Grenada. General elections are constitutionally due in 2023. However, it was only recently the main opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, on October 31st, 2021, elected a new political leader. Barbadian Prime Minister Mia Mottley recently called the snap election for January 19th and lit a flame of expectancy that the Grenadian leader may follow in her footsteps. While many believed that the new National Party administration, led by Dr. Mitchell, should take advantage of their opponents being unprepared, the Prime Minister shares another view.
And I just want to add this. There are those who are saying the opposition is disorganized and blah, 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 and you should call it now. That means we should take advantage of the opposition. I don't share that. An election is called for improvement for the people of the country, not just for a political party to get advantage over the next one.
Prime Minister Mitchell reiterates that there is no rationale for a snap election just for undue advantages.
And in any event, you had 14 out of 15 seats. You had all 15, and somebody left. One person left. You can't get more than 15. So if we're talking about political advantage, what's the point? So the decision to call election will be based on what is necessary at a given time. And I have consistently said that when we call an election, of course we use the advantage of incumbency, but it will only be in the country's national interest.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Passionate public discourse continues on the proposed full-scale reopening of schools. The school of thought is that vaccination must be part of the equation. GBN's Janelle McDonald has been listing the various stakeholders on this issue. It was raised with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell today.
Teachers and support staff must accept personal responsibility for their health, says Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, noting the inevitability of educators becoming fully vaccinated.
Clearly, Mikey, we will be able to find some substitute teachers, but if we have a massive infection, I don't see how you will be able to have that amount of substitute teachers to deal with physical presence in the classroom. So it means that we may have to go back to, if it reaches a point of crisis, to virtual teaching again.
He believes face-to-face learning and interactions are absolutely necessary while publicizing his support for vaccination among students.
The question, though, Gerard, is that you have to have the necessary vaccines available to be able to vaccinate and of course the human capacity to do the vaccination at all school levels. That is being given attention and is something we have to look at seriously.
Prime Minister Mitchell notes that the situation is painful to him personally as he reminisces on joy and the ability for children to socialize and interact with friends.
What it means is that kids are losing the fundamental basis of their educational opportunities. And therefore, it is a crisis in itself, what is happening to many young. And you know who that affects the most? The poor kids.
The joys of interaction also came to the fore on GBN's Beyond the Headlines program on Monday night, as articulated by Mr. Glenn Alexander of the J.W. Fletcher Secondary School.
If you ask any student, basically, their intent is to just get back to school. They miss the face-to-face, they miss their friends, and they just want to be back in the institution.
And that's something that you hear very often.
Oh yes, and knowing what we were closing off last year, going into Christmas and so, everyone was, we were looking, even teachers also, to be back with our students and enjoying the moments. We know this term is a sporting term and what it brings to school and school life. And I know off the bat, all students, close to 100%, would have loved to be back into the institution.
On a recent Beyond the Headlines program, principal of the Beacon Secondary School, Mrs. Cheryl Barnaby, also noted that vaccination will also have to be a part of the equation if schools were to return to some semblance of normalcy. For GBN News, Janelle McDonald.
Social Development Minister Delma Thomas has confirmed to GBN that she has tested positive for COVID-19. She spoke with Christina John on Wednesday.
Minister for Social Development, Housing and Community Empowerment, Delma Thomas, is the first government minister in Grenada known to publicly disclose that she has tested positive for COVID-19. The minister first disclosed her COVID-19 status on her Facebook page, saying, and I quote, "After working on the front line at mostly all pop-up clinics and visiting the hospital and not getting COVID-19, I have just tested positive for the virus," unquote. Minister Thomas, in an exclusive interview with GBN via telephone on Wednesday, says she contracted the virus from her husband, a police officer who was diagnosed with the virus last Thursday. It was after her second test she received a positive result. Mrs. Thomas, an asthmatic and is fully vaccinated, says she was exposed.
Got a positive result. The truth is my whole household are vaccinated. Every one of us in the house, we are vaccinated, and so I tested positive. My husband tested positive. One of my sons tested positive, and the other, my daughter, negative, and two of my sons negative also.
The Social Development Minister explained that she chose to disclose her COVID status with the public to shed light on the importance of getting tested as early as possible.
I decided to make public comments from the start. I've decided that once I tested positive, I will make a public declaration, because I believe that we have to sensitize the public. I've been in the peak of our first wave where we saw over 200 deaths. And what we saw and what the doctors experienced was family members keeping family home, staying in the cold, and until they're coming when it's really too late.
She told GBN that her symptoms are a slight sore throat and stuffy nose, and assured the public that she is not in bed, has no cough or pain.
Follow the protocols, continue to wash your hands, wear your mask, because I believe once you consistently wearing your mask, you cannot contract the virus. Even get vaccinated, because one of the things you're seeing, those of us who are vaccinated, our symptoms are milder compared to those who are not.
The virus, she reminds, respects no one. Minister Thomas is hoping that her symptoms remained mild and has reiterated the need for people to wear a mask, wash their hands, and follow all the protocols, because COVID-19 does not discriminate. Christina John, GBN News.
But no competition, as more light is shed on plans for Carriacou's Carnival celebrations this year. Do stay with us, we'll bring you that story and more.
You have been waiting on it all year.
Thanks for staying with us. As always, we say a special good evening to our listeners on K105. Those of you following our social media platforms, we're glad to have you with us. Let's move on now to Carriacou, where Carnival returns this year. However, there's a difference. One thing is certain, there'll be events, but no competition. Rena Pierre Thomas spoke with the president of the committee and brings us the details in this report.
While still in the planning stage of Carriacou Carnival 2020, executive members of the Carriacou Carnival Committee says this year's activities will not have any competition, but will be more of a cultural event. The president of the committee, Princess John, explained that on Monday, her team met with local artists to give them an insight on what is planned for next month and to get their response to the plans outlined.
We had a meeting with the artists artists, and they turned out in a number because I think that the artists really miss the carnival. Everybody on the island missed the carnival, including Grenada, all over the world. The kayak match is so unique. And in our discussion, it was a very fruitful discussion. We discussed that there will be no competition this year because everybody is affected by COVID one way or another. So what we discussed and came up with is just to do a showcasing of the different aspects of the festival. So we're going to have the little groovy, the soca, the calypso, the little Shakespeare mass.
John said that due to COVID-19, all activities will be held virtually. She gave more details on some of the events planned.
We're looking forward to highlight more of the Shakespeare mass. We want to do the old mass and all the different aspects of the carnival. As I said, it wouldn't be a wide scale. We wouldn't have a large band, 5 or 6 bands on the streets of Hillsborough, but what we're doing something very small, and it will be a virtual event, enclosed area. We're really looking at a limited persons being at the venue. That's why we're doing virtual, so everybody could stay home or where by a friend and look at the event. But we still have to finalize with the board. As you know, we're governed by the festival's board, and they're working closely with us to make sure that the event kicks off, and we trust that by end of week or next week, we can finalize on definitely what we are doing for the 2022 festival.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, during an interview with reporters on Wednesday, says although they have had discussions and plans for celebrating Carnival 2022 in Carriacou and Grenada, it will not be like the previous years, with COVID-19 still creating havoc.
And Carriacou Carnival, like Trinidad Carnival, it's just in February, I think. I can't remember the date. And therefore, I don't see how you can have the usual type of physical carnival celebrations in February. Now, the August celebration of the national activity might be different. Discussions have already started with stakeholders. And if the trend continues and we have less and less hospitalization and infection, if that trend continues, if it peaks and start going down, then we could look at a limited form of activity. But I doubt, without being able to project what will happen in August, that you will see the carnival celebration as it normally has been by August this year. Because
if materialized, this will be the first carnival to be held since 2019. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear-Thomas reporting.
Discussions continue on the proposed decriminalization of marijuana. The first step was to present a bill before Parliament, and that has already taken place. Christina John has been following the developments.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines can already boast of exporting its first legal shipment of medical cannabis to Europe. The question is, how far behind is Grenada in at least decriminalizing marijuana? Agriculture Minister Peter David says they have already taken the first step.
The bill has been laid in Parliament, so we've made the first step. The next step is for us to do second reading, which will now be the debate, where it will be debated in the Parliament and then would pass. That's at the lower house. And then it will be taken to the Senate, where the Senate will have its own debate, and the Senate, after passing it, it will become law once the Governor General signs on it. So we've started a process. The process should not go beyond the next month or so. It's something that we've decided on.
The Agriculture Minister explained that rights will be granted once the bill is passed in Parliament.
It is currently before the House, that has currently been laid in the Parliament, recommends the decriminalization of persons who use cannabis, could use it in the privacy of their home, can have in their possession an ounce of cannabis. They are not allowed to go in a public place and do it, and they can grow 4 or 5 trees, I think it is, in their home. With respect to other aspects of the bill, the Rastafarians who use it as a sacrament, they are allowed to have it in the tabernacle.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, during a press conference Wednesday morning, says the decision to decriminalize marijuana could be reached sooner rather than later. Dr. Mitchell reiterated his position of being in support of the use of small quantities, however, stated his fears over the abuse of the substance. He said it does not take an election to reach a decision.
Position is clear. It doesn't have to wait on anything. In fact, it may even happen before the final decision, before a general election. So we support limited use of marijuana for medicinal purposes and other basic purposes that's required.
The Drug Abuse and Prevention Amendment Bill 2021 went before Parliament during the 2022 budget presentation for the first reading. Christelina John, GBN News.
This is Network News, and still to come from us, we'll take a look at what's happening in the wide and wonderful world of sports. But in the third segment, calls for employers to speed up the implementation of regular testing of unvaccinated workers. We'll tell you whose thoughts these are when we come back. And welcome back. Businesses here are being told that they may need to speed up the implementation of regular testing for unvaccinated employees to ensure the financial burden is not absorbed by employers. Gerard Joseph has the details.
During the budget debate, Private Sector Senator Christopher Diali had indicated the possibility of some employers no longer taking on the cost of testing employees for COVID-19 in order to know their status.
Your livelihood is going to be dependent on your status in terms of vaccination or unvaccinated.
Senator Diali is now reaffirming that this remains a likelihood for businesses that choose not to mandate vaccination.
So that staff could ensure that they're coming with a status. They know their status, and we at the business know their status, so we know what to do. So it helps all parties in that sense. And I could see that being accelerating as this virus and its level of contagiousness continues as it has started to.
The private sector senator says companies and the economy in general are now expected to prepare for the real effects fiscally, as the waiver on loans is due to end in 2022. Meanwhile, the senator says the behavior of citizens must be challenged, noting that as citizens, the protocols must be followed to reduce the transmission.
The real issue is jobs, and people having jobs and livelihoods to continue earning and continue meeting their obligations in whatever form there are to be met. In Grenada, we seem to be heading down a road where the government is not anxious to lock down again in any form because they understand the implications of lockdown. And when you have community spread, based on what the science is saying, locking down doesn't really help. What really helps is behavior and how we do what we have to do, whether we go to large gatherings without any protections and all of that.
He says the emphasis and constant reminders must be on workers understanding the major role their behavior and discipline to the protocols play in keeping the second wave to a minimum. Senator Diali says personal responsibility to get vaccinated or receive boosters and to reflect on one's lifestyle while making adjustments must be the focus. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health. Times are hard, and your vehicle is your investment. Let it work for you. Get a wheel alignment from Premium Auto Services and enjoy greater fuel efficiency, smoother ride, improved steering, reduced repairs, and longer-lasting tires. Make that call today, 439-4000, or just visit them on the Calavini Main Road. Don't forget to ask about their 20% special discount and all new tires. Premium Auto Services, your one-star auto repair center.
Level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
Get Rubigas. Get cooking. Rubigas, clean, safe, and reliable LPG is the perfect solution for your commercial and everyday needs. For cooking at home or barbecuing, choose Rubigas LPG cylinders. Available in a variety of sizes from 20 to 100 pound cylinders. Rubigas LPG, clean, safe, reliable. Are you cooking with Rubigas? Get Rubis, get going.
Physical violence, threats, controlling behavior, and being disrespectful are no-nos in any relationship. Parenting together after a breakup can be difficult, but always speak and behave in ways you would want your children to speak and act. You cannot control what your ex-partner does, but you can control how you choose to respond to your ex and what behaviors you display to your children. Parents, display behaviors you will want your children to learn. A respectful child begins with you. Step up your parenting game. My family matters.
Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, reminds the general public to always be prepared. Make sure you have emergency supplies stocked away just in case. Here is a list to help you and your family. At least 1 gallon of water daily per person for 7 to 10 days. Enough food for at least 3 to 7 days. Non-perishable packaged or canned food and juices. Special items and food for babies and the elderly. Non-electric can opener. Cooking tools and fuel. Paper plates, plastic utensils, paper cups, trash bags and duct tape useful for cleanup or patching leaks in an emergency, blankets, pillows, first aid kit, medicines, prescription drugs, toiletries, hygiene items, moisture wipes, tarpaulin to cover holes if needed, bleach, water purification tablets, flashlight with extra batteries, battery operated radio, cash, small bills. Banks and ATMs may not be open or available for extended periods. Keys to house and cars, toys, books and games. Important document in a waterproof container or watertight resealable plastic bag. Up-to-date insurance, medical records, bank account numbers. Keep important phone numbers here. You may know them, but a loved one may not. A pocket knife, nails, a hammer and a rope are important elements. Towels and buckets are useful too if you develop a leak. Vehicle fuel, keep tanks filled.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with a bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
You know, one day I woke up and, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
here on K105 and Hot 98. Let me say good morning to Mr. Smooth. I'm hoping all is well this time around. Gary, are you with me this morning? Now let me see, make sure we have that problem rectified. Gary, what's up? Hey Gary, what's up with you, man? Are you with me?
Yes. I'm not too sure.
Yes.
How am I sounding on your end?
Certainly not the way I would like it to be, but maybe it's something that we could probably work with.
Yeah, I'm trying to be here with you, but I'm hoping that you're hearing me this morning. Are you hearing me?
We seem to be having a bit of a delay with your audio for some reason or the other. A little bit of a delay there. So soon as you get that rectified, I'll get back to you shortly. All right. Hey, don't forget, folks, it's Good Morning Grenada here on K105 and Hot 98. GT, I'm in studios, and Gary's at the remote location this morning. And, of course, apology for, of course, the hiccups that we're experiencing this morning. Sometimes things just happen. For some reason or the other, things just happen. And it's moved up before we get into the Celebrations Club for a wee bit. Let's shout out the folks. And coming up shortly after I shout out all the folks who are celebrating today, we have an interview for you. So stick around for that. And you certainly be an interesting conversation coming up. Maybe the next 5 minutes or so. So let me just get into the celebrations list this morning. Let's see who's on the list. Let's pop it up before me this morning. And let's see who's topping it off this morning. Now, let's say good morning to Jalin Lawrence of Lower Capital, celebrating today. Jalin, good morning. How you doing? Happy birthday. 13 years old today. Greetings going out to her this morning from her mom and her dad, Ken. Yes, her grandmom, Vonette, is also taking the time to wish her a happy birthday. Renisha Lessie of St. James actually resides in Adel. Good morning and happy birthday. I'm just going to roll through the names this morning. Good morning to Asha Patterson, Farmers of Lamotte and Patrick. Good morning and happy birthday. Let's say good morning to Denise Henwood. Good morning, how are you? Happy birthday. Hope you're doing great on your birthday today. Let's say good morning to Ali Pursuit of the Villa in the Sobeys. Ali, good morning and happy birthday to you. Let's say good morning also and happy birthday greetings going out to Darren Vincent, aka Spice of Bernay. That's in Victorious and Mark. Good morning, happy birthday. Monica King, who is in Canada. Good morning to Monica, happy birthday to you. Emerald Harris, aka DJ Haru. Good morning to you, sir. How you doing? Long time. Day in last suggestion to David. Good morning and happy birthday. Imon Monroe of Bernice and Mark. Good morning and happy birthday. The entire family is extending the greetings this morning. Wishing you a great day today. Let's say good morning also to Louise Felix of Hafford Village, celebrating. Good morning and happy birthday to you. Also, let me say good morning to Genesis Welch of Jean Langlais. Good morning. 10 years old today, Genesis. Good morning. Happy birthday. Kayak Nayak, of Maribor, good morning. Navel Brathwaite James of Monglong, 10 years old. Good morning to Navel. Happy birthday from your parents. Wishing you a happy birthday. Siobhan Telesford of Lamotte and George. Good morning, Siobhan. How you doing? Happy birthday. Are we family? Anyway, good morning and happy birthday from the entire members of your family. Wishing you a great day today. All right. Let's say good morning to Petra Ned of Post Royal, St. Andrew. Petra, good morning. Happy birthday. All the best on your day today. Come on, Jeffrey Crosby of Coffeebore Hill. And Kimon is 9 years old today. And his entire family is extending the greetings to him this morning, wishing him a happy birthday. Who else is on my list this morning? Katisha Filbert of River Sally, St. Patrick. Katisha, good morning. How are you? Happy birthday. Members of her family is extending the love to this morning. And wishing her a great day today. Actually, she's attached to the Father Hilligan's home of the age. We just going out to her from members of the family. Let's say good morning to Roland Bub. Celebrating today, Roland. Good morning and happy birthday to you. And maybe you have time to maybe drop one or two more in the list before we switch to our interview this morning. Let's see who we could shout out to within this segment. And actually have an anniversary on the list. Let's say happy anniversary going out to Ray and Donna Charles of Ahoma in St. Andrew, celebrating the anniversary. But I wasn't given the amount of years for the anniversary. So this whatever the years you're celebrating in terms of being married, I want to wish you guys a happy anniversary today. All right, anniversary. Not sure how many years you're celebrating, and also I did actually throw out a trivia this morning, and I'm seeing loads. Gary, if you, of course, it would be awesome if you were in studio this morning and could be part of it. And the riddle or the trivia I threw out this morning, what word looks the same backward and upside down? And I'm looking at the WhatsApp messages that came in, and a couple of folks gave a couple of answers. Someone said I, could be correct also. Could be correct with saying I. One in the said an answer by saying level. Yes. You could turn the level around and it still will, of course, be the same level, right? But the answer I was looking for, which I see one individual did give that the answer for that, and it was actually swim. Yeah? Yeah, so the one that looks the same upside down or backward, and it looks the same. So that's swim. So that particular individual that sent that particular message in this morning, you were correct. Swim. That's the answer, actually. Yeah.
This is a hard one.
Wasn't really a hard one, right? Good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Grenada. And let's move on this morning, folks. We're getting set for that interview this morning that we, of course, did promise. And, of course, I think the interviewer so forth is already lined up. Apology for not getting Gary in this morning as he should. So it's like GT, alone this morning in studios. Hopefully tomorrow we have that rectified. Maybe Gary got to get back in studio. Yeah, you probably would have to get back in the studio for some reason or the other. You understand? Anyway, let's see. We can have that interview lined up. Let's see if I could get this up here and running. Let's say good morning to Mr. Eugene Gittins. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, GT. How you doing, man? Good morning.
I'm doing okay. It's been a long time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It has been. Good to see you back on here, man.
Well,
real nice.
I actually
always like that voice.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, I always remember you and the music. Every time you put out a particular production, you always will give me a call and ask me, show some love to it on air, and I gladly do it. I would have gladly
I really appreciate the support back in that time, man. Yep. It's always good, always positive coming from you.
I know that was like eons ago. I know.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Back in the day.
We want to chit chat this morning about music in general. Of course, you being a music enthusiast, you love music, and of course you also here on K105 on Saturday doing Greens Music. What was the feedback of that particular program for you, sir? Before we actually get into it.
Yeah, really, really positive. I think it opened up. It was something that most times things work when they come at the right time, and I think during lockdown and stuff, and just focusing back on ourselves, it was a good time for it. And so, I think it hit the right time, and the feedback was really positive. It really exposed people to a lot of our artists, and the artists themselves were enthused and energized by it. So all in all, I think it was really good. The station was happy with it. Sponsors, everybody was really happy. So, it's one of those things where it could continue, but I got to think about it, because sometimes I get different ideas, so I may be onto a different thing right now. So I'm looking
So we just never know. We never know what's going to come up again. We could say
right, exactly. But what I would say, it would be something about Grenadians, and promoting Grenadians. That's definitely what it would be. It may not be limited to music.
I'm happy to hear you say that, because I know your love for Grenada's music. You're one of those individuals that wants to give it 150%. 100% is just not enough in terms of promoting Grenada's music, Grenadian artists per se. You want to give them that 150%, and if you can go and actually even increase the percentage, it would be even better. You understand?
Yeah. As you say that, many countries have done similar things where, in order to promote your music, the Jamaicans are the best example. In terms of, I remember when I was in university and stuff, and reggae was really, really huge and just hitting the United States. All the folks on college radio, all the Jamaicans on college radio, and commercial radio, all they would play is their own music. I bring a soca for them, a Grenada soca, our best, and they're like,
What is that? What is that? What is that? I want to know. What is that? You understand?
And sometimes that's what it takes. I know South Africa, some years ago, passed a law saying that anybody on air must pay, like I think it was a really high amount. It was like 80% of local music every day just to promote their music, So it's really important to understand that the industry starts with us. And, once we promote ourselves, then the rest will be history.
I'm happy you say that, because, sometimes I'm guilty of it also. I'm guilty sometimes. I think I don't have the tendency to pay much, of Grenada's music as I should be in here on K105. Years ago on other stations, I may have been playing loads of Grenada's music. I don't think I have them in my collection as I should have now. But we talking now music of the past and music now. Or would you say is music better today than it was yesterday?
It depends. I think generally, I think the answer will be yes. But in terms of
when you say yes, let me just cut you. When you say yes, what you mean music of the past or music of today? Do you say today's music are better or music of the past is better?
Right. So I am talking primarily local music.
Local music. Grenadian music. Well, that's where the emphasis is at now.
Right. And I would say yes, our music of today has developed tremendously. And, I never like to say music better or worse, but it has developed tremendously from the past. And not only that, I think the whole music industry as itself has developed, which has also served as a catalyst for developing the music. And just one important development, and sometimes it's good to spell it out, to say it out. What has happened over the years is that Grenada has now developed a recording industry, and that's a significant step. In the old days, you had to go to Barbados or Trinidad or New York or wherever to record something. Now a lot of our music is being produced, recorded, mixed, mastered right here in Grenada, and that's a significant development. So in terms of the recording industry, the music has developed. In terms of bands, now if you look at bands back in the, I think, 70s, there were a lot more bands in Grenada.
Yeah.
A lot of groups. Now that has changed. There isn't that many bands. However,
what's the reason you think for that? What's the reason you really think?
I think back in that day. Back in that day, it was because of guys like you, the DJs.
All right.
Simply put, it was that. But that's all is not lost, because I think Grenada also has a good group of musicians. You guys you meet in studio, or the guys you meet backing up various artists here and there, very, very talented musicians around. So it's even though we don't have the groups, they're there and they play on the tracks, they play on the recordings, and so they are there. They're in the mix.
All right, man. I like the part where you said that music today is better. Right, and I'm in agreement with you for that, because we have seen the whole Grenada's music has evolved in some way or the other in terms of the quality of music that now we can get our music playing on the international market with ease. You understand? No longer do we have to worry about when we hear a song playing in Grenada if it's going to be heard on another station around the world, or be part of a particular celebrations or event in another country. You understand? That has been a problem for us for years, and minimal artists have really broken that mark in terms of getting our music out there. And one of the main, of course, you hear a lot of international people say it has been our quality. You understand?
Right.
And no, that has broken that particular barrier. You understand? No longer are we worried about the quality of Grenada's music. So now, let's move on with this now. Is the music to be blamed for the behavior of youth today?
I think it's the other way around. I think what happens in society, music is a reflection of what happens in society. Well, actually, it's both ways. So music is a reflection of what happens in society. And yes, that music can then influence others in either a positive or negative way. So if you're promoting guns or violence or slackness, on a regular basis in music, then yes, that probably is what's happening in the society for some reason. And we need to explore that and figure out why and fix it. But also, promoting that music will also further promote that type of behavior.
All right.
Influence others. Yeah.
So you're saying the negativity in the music content per se, the negativity in the content of music today is one of the main reasons we see, youngsters are straying from a proper way of life. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, you can't blame the music alone. Like there are many other elements.
I understand,
society.
but
Generally, yes. But
I was saying,
generally, yes. But there's something in GT I want to say is that the pandemic has been good for music. I mean, bad for artists and bad for musicians and producers and stuff. But it has been good in a sense for society because it provided and provides a time of reflection, and so you would see the music has taken a breather. The music has gotten a little bit more positive, a bit more reflective, a bit reflecting the period we're in and looking at hope and coming out of it. And I think so, out of sometimes bad comes good. So I think that the pandemic period is a pause for reflection. And so when we start back up, we know we will be starting from a better place.
All right. Well, sometimes there's a say that magic happens, right? Yeah. Well, I do have Gary in studio with me this morning.
Gary finally made it?
He finally made it in studio.
Yeah, I'm here.
Gary, hey.
Whatever we tried this morning obviously didn't work.
So a little magic has occurred, and he's finally made it in studio. So, Gary, anything you want to say?
Well, you guys, GT, you guys been doing such a great job in terms of dissecting this topic. There's hardly anything I can add, but I just love the way Eugene put his spin on this because, we are in a time where, you hear a lot of people, especially the more mature and senior folks, lament about the state of music today, and they would always, compare it to back in the day. So when you listen to the dancehall music, which the youths particularly listen to, and the hip hop music is all about the gun language, the gang war and fighting and all, and the violence. It's just a lot of people think that it's something that has never been like this in the past, so looking at it today and reflecting and comparing it to yesterday, you have to ask the question, is music in a better place today than it was yesterday, and is it necessary? Is it, and can it be blamed for the level of deviant behavior in young people today,
But Gary, music has always pushed the boundaries.
Yeah.
Music has always, through time, all kinds of music, whether it be Elvis Presley winding up at that time, or coming down the road, Sparrow with some of his lyrics, questionable on edge, double entendre. It has always
been that way,
pushed the boundaries, yeah. But there is also it needs to be done with taste, and you just can't push it raw like that in people's face. People will get turned off if you come out too blatant and too raw.
Yeah.
So we have to taper it.
Eugene, let me ask you this: when we look at the criticism that is leveled against, let's talk about Grenada's music, especially the content maybe for a particular jab song, and it may have that little double entendre in it and so forth. Why is it when back then songs of that nature was produced, there was not even that much talk about it?
Well, how you know that? How you know that?
I'm talking about today. I find
how you know that
there's more hammering per se on songs today.
Hey, Sparrow song, White Meat got a lot of criticism in it.
Yeah.
I do, but you see, that I'm basing it on
that song was banned on most radio stations. Isn't it?
I'm talking about on a Grenada perspective.
But when you look at it today, you're like, they banned that song. When that song to ban, right?
To answer your question, Gary, to answer his question though, I think it was more cleverly done. Like I was saying before, it wasn't as raw and in your face. Sparrow, even though you are correct that it did people did question it and was banned in certain places, it was still wrapped a little more cleverly.
Yeah.
And it was in your head to figure out that's what you're talking about. And more your interpretation.
It wasn't that open for your eyes to see.
Right.
You understand? Right. Even though it was a song, but it wasn't that open.
But even the song we played, even the song we played yesterday, GT, feeling it. It dawned on me. I was like, hey, the man ain't talking about the music then.
And, I mean, that was a song by Baron back then.
You understand? To your point, Gittins, I think you're right. I think it's the cleverness, the intelligence in the writing. What sets, of course, today's artists apart from artists from in the 70s and 80s. You know what I mean? And I think that's what is lacking a lot in music. It's not just creativity, but of course that level of intelligence and cleverness in crafting your words and lyrics.
Exactly. Songwriting is a skill. Songwriting is definitely a skill, and it's something you have to work on and build. And sometimes I see guys come in the studio and they just they make up some words right there on the spot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it hits, but if you spend a little more time, you may get a better result.
I was thinking, would you blame technology and the open way of the world today? If you get my direction when I'm going, because back then, let's go back 40 years ago, when an artist produced a song, they would think about the feedback they would get from it. You understand? Now today, we know folks would say anything, and it doesn't matter. Parents would not bother to tell their children, don't listen. Okay, back then a particular song playing when you was a young someone said, your mom or dad would tell you, hey, turn off the radio or don't listen to that song. Now today, songs may play on the radio and parents may tell their son or daughter, turn it up, even with inappropriate content. You understand? So would you, with the onset of technology and stuff like that, do you think that has made a big difference in the music industry? Was it really little?
I think that's where, and I don't want to use the word regulation because that turns people off, but I think a social consciousness has to come in. So people on the air like yourselves, DJs, radio stations have to make a conscious decision. Look, we have to enhance our society and we are going to watch what we promote. So it has to be done across the board, because if you're doing it at GBN and somebody else in another station not doing it, then maybe people will start listening to that other station. So I think what has to happen is that it has to be done across the board, that we all agree, we all come together and we agree, boy, watch our society and the development of our society is really huge and important to us, and we are going to promote positiveness. Not total, we don't want to be prudes. We don't want to, we can't limit. We don't want to box ourselves.
I understand.
Because, but general. Because, some general. No bad word, for example.
Exactly. Some stations today, they generate a larger listen audience. Or if you would agree with me, Gary, because of the kind of music they play. You understand? I would listen to that station because I can hear a guy saying a particular word that I feel I'm comfortable with, and that station will play it with no malice. You understand? Where we may listen here in classic and we may not think it is appropriate to play that song, which will, to a point, diminish our listening audience. You understand? So how could we strike that balance?
I think it's just the age. The generation. The age gap now. The demographic. Because it all boils down to the demographic. But on top of all of that, it has to do with the fact that we in a different age group now. You understand? We probably might be getting old, and we probably might not be kind of thinking and reasoning like young people are today. Because
not only that, not only that, Gary. I think also though that's part of it. And like I said, music always pushes the boundaries, and we have to allow it to do it to a certain extent, but we have to monitor it. But it's more than just age, Gary. I think it's a consciousness, because we sometimes didn't do the job well enough of passing on certain things to our children. So, for example, let's take a word like nigger. You know how many people have died in this world to prevent people from saying the word nigger?
I agree.
And now you have artists just saying that like nothing, and you can say that's an age. It's because of a lack of consciousness. And even in the States, you have people fighting to get those rap artists to stop using that word. People think it's accepted in the States, but not everywhere. Very in conscious circles in black communities, people don't like that word being used.
They say it's a form of endearment.
Well, some people may argue that, but when we have our people now, getting involved, getting on that bandwagon. It just shows sometimes a lack of really the historical understanding. Because if you really appreciate that, then you'll be very, very skeptical about using that word, and promoting that. Music.
All right.
Well, what I can say, if we can, not sure what's going on here at my mic. All right, there you go. 435. What's the number again, boy?
2041. That's 435-2041.
If you want to weigh in on that top, if you want to weigh in on this discussion, feel free to shoot us a phone call. We haven't got much time, but we can probably, because this is a topic that is never ending. It's a topic that is never ending. I sure in your days, Mr. Gittins, that people were having that same conversation. Boy, the music today, oh gosh, compared to the last time or my days, you know what I mean? So
and it will continue.
It will continue. That comparing of generation in terms of the quality of music that is produced versus either generation, that conversation would always continue. But it is what it is, man. But we're here. Don't forget, if you want to jump in on the discussion, you can. We are speaking with Mr. Eugene Gittins, a musician. I wanted you to just give them a quick synopsis of your background.
In this context, musician, producer, and promoter of Grenadian music. That's it.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. We were speaking to an artist the other day, and he said that, of course, you helped him with his production. What was the artist again?
It was Jonathan Francis.
Jonathan Francis. You had your hands in that, and I was like, Eugene, man, he's still there. Doing his thing, promoting local music. Your show on Classic and on Hot on a Saturday did, of course, reach quite a number of people, not just here in Grenada, but there in the diaspora as well. So you continue to, of course, get your hands in the music business as you did back then. It is something to make notice of, to make mention of, and it's indeed admirable that you continue to promote local music. And you made a very, very good point earlier on when you referenced the situation in Africa and how they have mandated radio stations to play at least 80% of local music.
We do have a caller, guy. Let's see what this caller wants to chip in this morning and be part of the conversation. Good morning. How you doing?
Morning. Good. Very good. Mr. Eugene Gittins and Oliver, very good program. Thanks. You there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here with you.
Yeah. All right. Concerning the music, right? I mean, what you're all saying is very correct. But what I think is that, music shapes the thinking pattern of our people. I don't know if all may or may not agree with me for that, right? Yeah. But in the sense that let's say guys like let's say Sparrow was Kitchener dead and gone. Right, like Sparrow, like Chuck Dust. I mean, them guys with so much wealth of experience. Well, I mean, them is from Trinidad. Right. Well, let's say artists, in the region. If they before they dead and pass on, if they could, work and tutor our young artists, because as you all properly, I mean, alluded to the fact that a lot of young artists, they just come on the stage and they just do a thing, as we say then, without even thinking, how the lyrics would according to the guys, would we reflect on the younger ones, and our children. And so we have, and so this, I think this other thing contribute to a breakdown in society, as a whole. And so don't let these guys, like the more experienced guys like Wizard and maybe a Jamo and who else and die with the wealth of experience. Let it pass on, have certain workshop and things then that could tutor the young artists, because the young artists really need. I mean, they really need to put out better works out there, man.
All right, caller.
Thanks a lot, man. Very, very good point.
Really good point there from the caller. I get where he's coming from. And a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you ever saw that, where in Jamaica per se. Sometimes I try not to divert to other countries much, but there was this new artist that come out that he's blaming that the older artists are not helping, the young artists to move forward. You know, that was a statement, and he was actually, you know, blaming artists like Shabarangs and so forth, and saying that when they got their break and the people helped them, and now they have gotten to the stage they are not helping the younger artists. Although he was criticized for that a whole lot, you understand, because, you know, there are people that say maybe these artists do a lot, but sometimes they try to keep themselves in the background. You know, not trying to come out and boast and say, well, you know, I helped somebody and I helped. You understand? And I know for sure there are a lot of Grenadian artists, Gary, who are helping younger artists right now. I guess Mr. Gittins could testify to that, because he's probably know a lot of you know.
Well, Mr. Gittins is one himself.
Well, exactly.
Pointing,
you know,
pointing guess.
It happens. It does happen. I think maybe the caller makes a good point. Maybe it should happen more on an institutional level, and it does, because the Ministry of Culture does from time to time, and Calypso organizations and other individuals have workshops for younger people. Maybe a little bit more could be done, and maybe this might be a good time to do it, but it's important to have that knowledge transfer. So he does make a very good point. It's being done both formally and informally, but maybe it could be done to a higher level. Yeah.
We do have another caller. Of course, we got to wrap up shortly. Let's take this caller and see whether the contribution this caller has to make. Good morning, caller. How are you doing?
Greetings. I'm excellent. I just wanted to say that I that caller a while ago called and said that the young people are not creating the substance of music, but I disagree. I think the problem is there's always going to be day and night. Yeah? There's always a balance in the creation of everything. There's good music, and then there's negative ones. Unfortunately, we are convinced that it's only negative music that the youths are making because that's what we hear. That's what is pushing the forefront. If you listen to our radio stations, you don't hear Calypso anymore, you don't hear Jamo no more, you don't hear Scholar, you don't hear Wizard, you don't hear the conscious music. We always hear the vulgar music, and I don't know why, but that's how it is. So I think the real problem comes from a lack of appreciation for culture, for what is positive, for what is not chaos, because we seem to gravitate only to chaos in this modern world. So it's only the chaotic music that gets out in the forefront. We don't hear about the Josh Berkeleys. We don't hear about the Deva, the brighter star, the conscious music that's there. And I'm not talking about the controversial music that they sing, but they themselves have some amazing, uplifting music. There's a song called Suicidal Love by Brighter Star where he speaks about fighting against rape and these kind of things. We don't hear this on the radio, and I don't know why. So I think we just need to put a little more effort as DJs, as radio personalities, as the short callers, the people who are responsible for making these things happen, and make it happen. Push the culture. Push steel pan. Let me hear steel pan in the morning when I listen to the radio. Let me hear Calypso. Let me hear some reggae. Let me hear something different, something more uplifting. And I think that will really change things and show us exactly what is happening outside it, because people like Eugene Gittins are bridging the gap between the elders and the youngsters. So it is going on, but we just need to push it in the forefront so it can become mainstream.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution there.
Thank you there, caller. That voice sounds familiar, but anyhow, yeah, very, very, very good points and well said. You got anything to say about that, Mr. Gitz?
Good points. I think just generally very good points. But he mentioned somebody, and I just want to mention, I've just recently done a production with Brighter Star, and yes, he is one of our Brighter Stars emerging, and we need to look out for that guy. Real conscious lyrics and stuff. It was cool working with him.
But this conversation will go on forever in terms of...
But sometimes the problem could be the availability of the music too, Gary.
Listen, GT, you and I, we've lamented and we've been complaining for decades, however long we've been in radio. And you guys spoke on the engineering aspect of music earlier on. But you can attest, you and I have had that conversation for years, but we don't have that conversation to that extent today. And this is how far Grenada's music, in terms of, like Gittins alluded to earlier on, the recording industry, the quality of Grenada's music is on par with the other islands. So we hardly have an excuse outside of Bardo, like the quality that where they don't get this thing mastered and engineered properly. We don't have an excuse today, except barring one or two songs that might have failed the test. But for the most part, the engineering and the quality of the music today, the sound engineering of the music today, is on par with all the other islands out there. So that excuse has been taken care of.
I agree. Well, I think we're coming to a wrap this morning, Mr. Gittins. You know, I can hold this conversation with you all
we can
morning.
go on and on,
We can go all morning.
We can go on and on.
We can go all morning with this conversation because, you know, just talking about music, especially Grenada's music, is something that is dear to me. I love Grenada's music. And I said I'm guilty of not playing enough here in mornings.
We all are.
Because of the unavailability of it. You know, I wish artists could just from up to listen today and just drop tons of their music, and I will gladly play it. You understand? I sometimes try to get as much local music in, but sometimes you just don't have it available at the time to play. You understand? And I think that's when my little issue when it comes in. Any closing words, Mr. Gittins, before we take a wrap this morning?
Well, you know, it was good being here. Thanks for inviting me. It's good to touch base with you guys again. I've worked with you guys, both of you, over the years. You know, Darren helped me out many a time with production and stuff. You know, you're very talented. Both of you are very talented youths. So, yeah, it's really good to be here. And, you know, I think let's just keep pushing the music, man. It's already happening, so let's just keep doing it.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Gittins, all the best, and have yourself a good day, and continue to do what you do, man. Continue to do what you do.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Respect every time.
All right.
All the time.
All right. That was Mr. Eugene Gittins there this morning. Of course, we're talking about music, and we were talking about music, Grenada's music, and, you know, what it's like today and what it was before. And he has made some really, really good remarks in terms of what the music was like before and what it's like today.
Definitely.
Yeah, I understand. So where we going at, Gary? Where we going at, man?
We'd like to get into the tune and repeat what we did yesterday. That failed yesterday. We're going to do it again today. We had some technical issues yesterday, so we can probably run it by. And I think now is as good as any time given the conversation this morning. Huh?
I know, but If we could get to pop it in just a wee bit. Let me see if I could quickly pull up.
I know your database deep.
It is deep. It is deep. You know, thank God for technology, boy.
Boy, I tell you. Although it failed me this morning.
But that can be taken care of.
Oh, definitely. I'll spend the rest of the day hammering this out, man.
Yeah,
Trust me. I'll spend literally the entire day today trying to troubleshoot and get past this.
All right, man. Anyway, Gary, I think I have these song things, you know. Master Control. We're going to take care of the music part.
We'll take care of the music part
of things.
Yeah.
You could probably just put up a still as we play this one for you. Kicking it off, and of course, yesterday morning we tried to fit this one in, but I'm going to play the original song.
Yeah, man.
As you said, Gary, there's a little bit double entry in this particular song that folks never even thought about.
Yeah, well,
there you go.
Let's go.
It's the Baron and a track entitled Feeling It. Gary, we tried to fit that in yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Listen to the superb sound of the quality there, man.
The quality and, of course, the cleverness in the writing. You understand? But a new artist, old versus new, a new artist with respect and admiration for, of course, the Baron himself, Swampy, has put his twist on this. I want to get your feedback. Which one is the winner here this morning? Which one you're giving the nod of approval this morning?
I feel it the fest. I feel it the party. I feel like a drink. Some rum from the morning now. Alcohol flowing up my veins. Party calling up my name. And I'm feeling it. Oh, oh, oh. I'm feeling it. The carnival session. Woman in my hand. Maybe so high in the body. I'm feeling it. Oh, oh. Sing the thing, man. Sing the thing, woman. Ready, brass. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, we ain't got much time.
We ain't got much time.
So let me see if we can get at least a couple phone calls. And we have some folks already responding on the WhatsApp. You know what I mean?
You feeling it? You feeling
I'm feeling it.
You know?
Yes, I.
Let me be
Old versus new.
Let me be straight up and honest, guy. I like both versions.
Yeah,
I like both versions. We already have someone on WhatsApp, you know, of course, who's gearing up for the original Baron.
Yeah,
which I have no problem with. It's
I hope the senior folks or the middle-aged folks are not like, you know, saying, okay, I'm going to just vote for Baron because he's in my generation. You know, I mean, let's be honest. You know what I mean? We got a call on the line.
No, I don't think we have a callers yet, but I would say I'm like in the original. Well, we do have a caller there now. Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning to you.
I'm doing hard.
Who we going with this morning?
You like the original?
Yeah.
All right, sweetheart. Have a good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to send a happy birthday greetings to my cousin Sparkle, Joseph from Windsor Forest, and it's coming from the entire Joseph family from Windsor Forest.
All right, man. They have a good morning.
Big up yourself.
All right, man. Yes. Yeah, we got to keep the original in the background. Even with all of the little hiccups that we, of course, encountered this morning, all well and good. All is well and good.
All is good.
All is good. Master Control, you probably can show up the COVID, of course.
Do I have? I think I have one in my hand.
Yeah.
Right now,
yeah. I don't see, because, you know, sometimes you got to keep folks abreast of what's happening. There are folks who, of course, depend on that particular information for you on a daily basis. And let's see. Are you going to go in and Gary? You good this morning.
Well, as it is right about now, as of the 12th of January 2022, Grenada has recorded 365. Am I seeing right here? 365 new confirmed cases. All right, so the numbers continue to increase. The active cases in Grenada right about now stands at 2,806.
Wow. It's getting to be a cause of concern. I mean, I heard the actual Prime Minister say this morning, you know, he doesn't see the cause yet to actually, you know, go back into a lockdown or anything, you know. And I understand from his point of view, if there's no increase in deaths and hospitalization, you understand?
Yeah.
You know, there's probably no need for it.
But that's not stopping people from being a little bit cautious and a little bit concerned, especially with the young ones going back to school.
Yeah, man, I know.
Yeah, but this is where we are right now.
So we had 108 recoveries yesterday, Gary, which means folks are getting better. You understand?
108 recoveries?
108 recovery for yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot. That says a lot.
Yep.
That says a lot.
I mean, I'm happy for the recoveries. I'm happy that there's no deaths at all happening right now. None reported deaths in
no
the last couple of days. We had one earlier.
Am I seeing 0 hospitalization here?
I think it's like 8 hospitalization.
I need to clean my glasses.
Yeah, there's 8. There's 8. Yeah, there's 8 folks who's in hospital right now.
Right.
So we happy for the stats that it's showing in terms of the zero deaths.
24.3 test positivity. Over 1,400 were tested yesterday.
Yeah, that 1,465. It looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's continue to do what we got to do, folks.
Follow the protocols, and keep safe, Grenada. Keep safe.
We got to wrap it up?
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. We got like 30 seconds before we have the BBC World News. Hey, that's what we say goodbye for Good Morning Grenada. Join us again tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if Guy's going to be here at his remote location tomorrow.
Most likely I'll be here.
Yeah, most
likely. Circumstances.
You're not going to take that chance again. Right?
Circumstances.
Since you get things really sorted out.
Circumstances dictated that I worked remotely this morning.
I understand, man. I understand how things flow. Once again, it was a pleasure having you, of course, sticking around with us this morning. We appreciate it a whole lot. Viewers online, good morning to you. Of course, Facebook, YouTube. All the best. GBN TV viewers, hey, have yourself a great day. BBC World News is next here on K105.
Torture and